Most people have heard of Walther firearms. If nothing else, they've heard of the Walther PPK from James Bond. But before I talk about this Walther rifle, I wanted to welcome you to 2020. This is the first video of what stands to be a great year. I'm always optimistic. I hope you had a good holiday and the best New Year's, and we can shift to the rifle now. So I've wanted to make this video for a while. I have a small vault of German sporters that are not very common. This was hard to find, and you may never have encountered a Walther JR or Junior. And I've asked other collectors which one is it. They don't know. But on the receiver it says JR, and the rest is familiar to Walther people. It has the Walther banner, and it says Model JR, Karl Walther, Waffenfabrik Ulm, I suppose Deutschland, West Germany, so that dates it to pre-Berlin Wall. Magnificent rifle. Some of the features are particularly excellent, especially since recently people like these 3-lug bolts, and this one has multiple locking lugs. I think what I should do in fairness is take the bolt out, then you can see how well this is made. So you can see a bank of locking lugs, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 actually, but it's still a 3-lug design. If you understand me, these are segmented, so it looks like more, kind of like a Weatherby. Nevertheless, it gives you the short bolt lift, and this is extremely shallow. I don't know what it is. And you can always tell by the bolt face whether a rifle has been fired much, and this one has not been fired much, if at all. And to look at the bore, well, it looks in excellent plus condition. So they go to the trouble of making a really fine rifle, and then they put this bolt handle on this knob, and to me it looks like something from a kitchen cabinet, but that's what they did, and it works. So you have the very short bolt lift, and they did a good job on the cams, because you can if you've got a long arc, say on a Mauser 98, then you don't have to apply that much force. But when you have a short bolt lift, you have to get the angles correct, that surface, and they did. Very slick. You can't feel this, of course, but it's excellent. Unremarkable action otherwise, very clean. They didn't shrink the ejection port, as a lot of rifles do these days. The caliber is 7x64. I was completely lucky, and this came with a claw mount but no scope, but it came with the rings, so it's just a matter of fitting another scope, which I actually have. I just didn't get around to it. And the stock is an excellent design. And double set triggers, which work perfectly. And I usually shoulder the rifle during filming just to see if I miss something. I mean, it's a typical Monte Carlo, and for most people that's a very comfortable stock. I think the purists like a straight grip stock, and so do I, but one has to be realistic that not all rifles come with that. It has a unique safety. You can see on the back of the bolt shroud is a flag safety, and actually I like that safety a lot. It's a good feature, and it may not be the most ideal place. I guess the tang safety is probably the most ideal location, but it works nicely, and you can see clearly what's what with that flag. It has been drilled and tapped by somebody, and you were probably wondering, or are wondering, about these 2 buttons, which Walther rifles, you probably know the 22, I think the KKJ. Walthers try to include this feature, so to find out the meaning of those, we flip the rifle this way, and you can see there's no floor plate. It's a fixed floor plate, and since it's fixed, there's no floor plate release. So what happens is you load the cartridges, and then you don't have to work them all through the action to get it unloaded. You push the 2 buttons and the cartridges are released, which is quite effective. it's essentially a flawless rifle from a collector's point of view. Everything is 90% or better, but it's missing the rear sight because the bell on that huge scope probably would have hit the rear sight, so I'll have to find that. Other than that, it's not exhibition walnut, but you can see that the factory used some grain, the original recoil pad. So as far as collectability goes, you know, if it's in decent shape, these are always worth buying. There were not many made, and as a consequence, when somebody decides they would like to own one, they're prepared to pay more than the more common sporters. And I think that's probably all I can say on this particular rifle. And naturally I'll try to get to the range if it sticks around long enough. But usually what happens is, you know, people discover the rifles either from my video or somewhere else, and then I don't have it anymore. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and our Instagram effort is apparently doing well. Please follow us on Instagram, and Patreon's very helpful, and let's look forward to a great 2020, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching.